Hi dear students, welcome back to computer science class. In our previous session we have learned keys in database or keys in database management system, and we know keys are one of the key topics or one of the most important topics in database management system. You know what actually keys, right? Key is an attribute or set of attributes that used to uniquely identifying tuples in a relation, right? And we have almost completed all the theory stuff in database management system or in SQL, and now we are heading to the implementation part of SQL, right? SQL and MySQL. Okay, so today we have four simple topics for discussion: introduction to SQL, SQL and MySQL, overview of SQL and MySQL, then features of SQL, and finally advantages of SQL. Okay, so it's just think of what as an introductory topic to the practical implementation of SQL. Okay, so this is very important for you. Knowing SQL is very important. Okay, so let's start with introduction to SQL. You know what actually SQL is, right? SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and SQL is a standard programming language used to develop the backend of a software, right? Used to deal with database manipulation, right? Yes. And the concept of database management system is not somewhat new, right? Actually, it has been started using in 1960s. The first, it was first implemented in 1960s. Then, let's have some examples of database management system. The first one is online telephone directory. In telephone directory we'll have subscribers, number, contact details, address, and all other related data, right? Yes. So in online telephone directory we'll have phone number, contact, and other contact details of subscribers. And when you consider electricity service provider or database of electricity service provider, you will have data regarding billing, client related issues, and fault data. Okay, there will be when we keep an electricity service providers database, there will be data related to electricity providers data, right? Electricity service providing. Okay, then Facebook. Okay, we are well aware of what Facebook, and which all kind of data we are dealing with. Okay, which all kinds of data we are interacting with. So all these kinds of data will be stored in the database. Okay, which all kinds of data we are interacting with or we are dealing with when we use Facebook, right? So like store, manipulate, and present data, like members. Okay, actually Facebook stores, then manipulate and present data before the audience or before the user, like members, member data, friends data, activities. Okay, member activities, then messages, ads, and lot more. Okay, whatever we are doing with Facebook will be stored in its database, right? Yes, it store, manipulate, and process or present data to the user. Okay, so this is just an overview. Okay, just about SQL. Okay, what database management system is, right? Brief history, or in which all areas we can use it, and what all the components will be stored in a database management system. Okay, now then the database management system, it's what language to manipulate data, and here the language is SQL. Database management system requires or needs a language to manipulate data. Database management system is just a software, and SQL is a language which is used in database management system or in RDBMS to manipulate data. Okay, that is what actually SQL is. Now we can move on to the second topic, SQL and MySQL, or overview of SQL and MySQL. You know what actually SQL is? SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and MySQL, it's a database management system. SQL is a language and MySQL is a database management system, and we are using SQL, the language, here in MySQL, or MySQL itself is a database management system. Okay, yes. First, SQL. SQL is a computer programming language, or it's a standard programming language which access and manipulate database. Okay, it is used to access and manipulate database. Then it consists of commands that are used to create, transform, and retrieve information from relational database management system. That means using SQL commands we can create, we can retrieve, we can manipulate, we can modify, we can delete, we can insert, we can perform all kinds of operations. Okay, in the database or in a relational database management system, and it creates an interface between the user and the database. Actually, SQL acts as an interface between the user and the database, right? Yes. Okay, and finally create table. Okay, it's used to create table, adding records, and modifying data, removing rows, then dropping table extra. These are some of the manipulations, some of the operation that can be performed using SQL. Okay, that means SQL is a computer programming language, standard programming language, which is used to store, retrieve and manipulate database, okay, or data in the database, and it acts as an interface between what user and the database, of course, and it consists of commands used to create what add record, modifying record, remove rows and dropping a table, etc. Okay, and you know which are the operations which we can perform, right? Okay, yes. Then MySQL. We know MySQL is a database management system. Okay, it's an open source and freely available database management system. What do you mean by open source? MySQL belongs to open source community, right? Open source means the source code is open to the user, open to the programmer, and what programmer can modify it, programmer can redistribute it, okay, under a license agreement. Okay, we cannot do it freely, right? Okay, we need a license agreement, and which is what provided by the open source organization. Okay, then it's freely available, of course, and that uses SQL. Okay, MySQL uses SQL programming language, SQL. Then features for creating, okay, it has the features, MySQL has the features for creating, storing and maintaining and accessing data. Okay, yes. Then can store several tables and thousands of records. Here in MySQL, using MySQL database management system, we can store several tables, number of tables and thousands of records in it, right? Yes. Then as we have already what mentioned, it's an open source and freely available. You can go to www.mysql.org for downloading MySQL. Okay, yes. Then it's developed by MySQL app, which is located at Sweden. Okay, MySQL app, which is located at Sweden. Yes. Then it's fully secured, reliable and fast. MySQL is fully secured, reliable and fast. So most of the programmers prefer what MySQL better than other programming languages, other database languages or other database management system. Okay, so this is all about MySQL. We know MySQL is an open source, freely available programming language that uses what SQL programming language, right? Yes, it has the features for creating, storing, modifying data. Then it can store several tables and which can store what several records, okay, which is available in www.mysql.org and developed by MySQL app at Sweden. Okay, then of course it's fully secured, faster and reliable. Yes, okay, so this is why most of the programmers uses what MySQL, okay, database management system MySQL, other than other programming, other what database management systems. Okay, yes. Then let's look at features of SQL. Our third topic, features of SQL. Okay, and these features make what? These features and advantages make SQL one of the most commonly used programming language. Okay, programming language for the backend. Yes, let's look at the features first. It's developed by Donald D. Chamberlain and Raymond F. Boyce at IBM in 1970. Okay, then it's a fourth generation non-procedural programming language. Okay, developed by Donald D. Chamberlain and Raymond F. Boyce, okay, at IBM in 1970, and it's a fourth generation non-procedural programming language. Actually, there are two programming languages, procedural and non-procedural. You know what procedural is? In procedural, we have to specify the procedure. We have to specify, okay, we have two terminologies, what to get and how to get. Okay, in procedural programming language, we have to specify both what to get and how to get. What to get, what you want to get, and how to get the data. You have to specify the procedure. You have to code the procedure. Okay, you have to code the procedure of getting what you want. But in non-procedural, you have to specify only what to get. You just have to specify only what to get. How to get is already defined, already specified, already coded. Okay, yeah. So it's somewhat easy, right? We don't have to go for how to. We don't have to go for how to do it. It's already defined. We just use it. Okay, then these are what the features of SQL that makes SQL, as I already mentioned, what this is why SQL is most commonly used. Okay, and which can retrieve data using query processing. As I've told you, using SQL we are storing, we are retrieving data using query processing. Query means using SQL commands, right? SQL query, yes. Then we can insert records in a table or in a database, update records in a database, then create new database and modify existing database. Then create new tables. As we know, we store data in tables, right? Then create views in a database. Views are the logical tables. Okay, logical aspect of logical tables are what views are. Okay, then modifying security settings of system. Okay, we are ensuring the security, minimal level security by using SQL commands. Okay, you can set the priority, right? Yes. Then SQL, we know it's a unified non-procedural programming language for creating, accessing, handling and managing data in a database. Okay, it's a single statement definition for SQL. It is a unified non-procedural programming language used for storing, retrieving, accessing and modifying and manipulating or managing data in a database. Okay, so these are the features of SQL. Okay, now we have the last topic, advantages of SQL. Advantages of SQL, as I've already told you, what features of SQL and advantages of SQL make SQL the most widely accepted programming language. Okay, yeah. So advantages of SQL. The first point, ease of use. That means it is easy to use. Why? Why it's easy to use? Because SQL commands users commonly use English words like create. Use for creating, we use create, right? We're using create. Yeah. For inserting, we use insert. Updating, update. Deleting, delete. Dropping, drop. Okay. Yes. So we use commonly use English words in SQL command. So it is somewhat very easy for us. We are that familiar with all the English words, so it will be very easy for us to interact with SQL. Okay, using SQL. Yeah. Second, large volume of database. Database can be handled easily, meaning large volume of data as well as database can be handled easy. Okay, or easily. Then no coding required. That means it's a non-procedural. No coding required means anyway we have to code it, but it's a it is a non-procedural programming language. We don't have to specify how to get it. That's what no coding is required. We specify only what to get, right? So how to get coding for how to get is not required, is not necessary. We don't have to code it. We code only what to get. Okay, so that's what no coding is required. Yeah. Then the fourth point is can be linked to high-level programming language. As we know, there will be two ends for every software, front-end and back-end. And in our syllabus, we have Python as our front-end. Okay, so we have number of programming languages, right? High-end interface designing programming language, developing programming language like C, C++, Java, Python. Okay, there are a number of languages. So it is very easy to connect to the front-end. That means using SQL, we can connect very easily to the front-end of the software. Okay, that means Python and SQL can be very easily connected. Okay, yes. Then it's portable. Portable means it's compatible, meaning we can transfer it from one database to another database very easily. It is compatible. It is compatible with most of the database management systems like DB2, MySQL server, MS Access, etc. There are there are a number of database management systems. So using SQL, it is portable. That means suppose we code in MySQL, we can transfer it from MySQL to another DB2 or in MySQL or MS SQL server or to MS Access, to any of database management systems. Okay, so it's portable. We can transfer from one place to another place without having any change. Okay, anyway we can transfer anything from one place to another place, but portability means there must not be any change. Okay, there will be source and destination, right? And actually the status of the thing, the entity in source must be maintained, the same status there in the destination as well. There must not be any change. That's what portability is. Then finally we have it's not case sensitive, right? It's not case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive? Case means uppercase and lowercase. Here in using SQL, we can code either in uppercase or in lowercase or as a mixture of lowercase and uppercase. Okay, it is not case sensitive. SQL is not a case sensitive language. That means uppercase and lowercase are not different. Okay, yes, we can use it. Okay, either uppercase or lowercase, whatever it is. So these are the advantages of SQL. Okay, let's have a quick revision as all topics are very simple. Let's go very fast. Okay, yes, introduction to SQL. Okay, the concept is not new. Actually, it has been started using from 1970s. Okay, and we have seen some of the DBMS examples. Okay, softwares, online telephone directory, electricity service provider, and Facebook. Okay, then DBMS need a language to perform all these tasks. Okay, that's what SQL is. Then SQL, it's a programming language, standard language used to access and manipulate DB. Commands used for creating, transforming, or retrieving information from DB. Okay, we can create table, add record, modify record, then remove rows, drop table, etc. Okay, then MySQL, it's an open source and freely available relational database management system which supports SQL. Okay, we use SQL in MySQL. Then features used to create, modify, maintain. Okay, then can store several tables and thousands of records available in mysql.org. Then developed at MySQL app at Sweden. Then fully secure, reliable, and fast. Okay, that's my most preferred language it is. Okay, then features developed by Donald D. Chamberlain, Raymond F. Okay, at IBM 1970s for their non-procedural. They retrieved what data, insert, update, create table, create views and modify security settings. Okay, then it's a unified non-procedural programming language for creating, accessing, handling and managing data in a DB. Then advantages, ease of use. We can store large volume of data, no coding is required, can be linked to any programming language, any front-end programming language, and portable and finally non-case sensitive. Okay, as I told you, these are very simple, as you know. We have already learned it. Okay, but from the next class onwards, we are heading to the implementation. Okay, in our next class, we will be discussing what types of SQL commands or division of SQL commands. Okay, categorization, all those kind of stuff. So just go through it. Okay, we must have a clear understanding of the theory part, otherwise we couldn't get to the practical, right? Okay, so just go through it. So this is all for the time being. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time. Take care.